We are live. Fix my little poof here. Y'all could have told me yesterday that my collar was all cocked off, looking a little crazy. I was out of it yesterday, y'all, but here we are. I'm going to give y'all a little bit of time to come in as I invite some on the other side so that we can do the finale of the reading of Island Love, a Carib-American coming of age tale. We want to see what happens with Rita, what happens with Devon, and what happens with all of these secrets. So I want to give everybody a little time to come in. I know I usually be jumping right in there, right? But let me do as I was asked before, which is do a little bit of inviting. If you have been enjoying the story, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the comments that are left below. Please go over to YouTube if you can, not YouTube. Yes, YouTube, but not YouTube. I was thinking Amazon. Over at Amazon, where the book is on Amazon, and write a review of the book. Support the thing. There's more to come, but that's the one thing that we know, and I'm going to talk a little bit, is that if we don't support artists in our community and those who produce, if we don't support, then it makes it difficult to do the things that one loves, because, it costs. That's the reality. If you wanna get a book and invite somebody, feel free. If you wanna get a book that doesn't have a lot of typos, and you wanna get a book that looks well put together, then you need editors. You need designers if you're not a designer yourself. You need a layout if you don't know. Aru, welcome. Connor, welcome. Rachel, welcome. Or Raquel. You need it. So we're going to read the finale, but I'm saying all of these things to say I like to educate myself as well as the consumer and listening audience, because sometimes, because we don't see a process, we don't value the process, or we don't understand what it takes to produce something that when it does come to market, it has a right to be there. Essentially, it's not riddled with this type of inferior look, all of the things that we blame each other for. Shout out, give thanks for the love. Shimaya, welcome to the discussion. Corey, welcome. I'm gonna get started reading. I said at 8:30, right? I almost forgot. So we got 2 minutes. I got a little time to say something before we go and find out what's going on with Rita. But so I like to educate, kind of pull the curtain away to show all the things that it takes, so that when we do come to market, we don't necessarily, if somebody's giving a fair price for something, then to try to talk that person down is negating all the work, effort, and time that it went into to actually making a product. And I don't only just make literature, but I haven't read my own stuff in this capacity. So some may be like, whoa, Emunah, like, you're doing the most. But, it takes time to first come up with the storyline, second, third, fourth draft, preliminary edits, the official editor, because I do send my stories to an official editor who has a master's degree, a doctorate, if I'm not mistaken, in English. And so I do that because I want to make sure that I have the best product possible. And so all of those things we must keep in mind when we talk about the entertainment industry, which is a very huge industry. One of the reasons why the societies begin to deteriorate is because of entertainment. Whatever they're putting in the music, whatever is being put on the radio, whatever is being put in the movies, that is what we internalize. And so if we don't get a handle on our entertainment, if that's what we're into, if we don't get a handle on what we allow to occupy the walls of our mind and the spaces and the stories, because make no mistake, we learn through stories, we transmit lessons through stories, we pass on information through stories. So stories are very important. And it's kind of how the human brain works, that if you put something in a story, then it has context, then we know how to refer to it. And it's easier to pull it back as opposed to a little fact or something that's kind of not connected to anything, anyone, no color, no smell, no touch. We kind of don't work best in that way. And so I wanted to say that to say it's 8:30. I wanted to say that to say, may we continue to appreciate the work that people are doing, not just myself, but people who are doing that they put their time, energy, and effort to, so we can see more of the good as opposed to complaining that the good doesn't exist. So with that said, I believe it's 8:30, and I'm starting 8:30 sharp today. 8:30 sharp. We're going to jump off in this thing. All righty. I've been reading from Kindle. So this is only available on Kindle because I was going to wait until I had all 4 parts. There's supposed to be 4 parts of these individual novellas that are kind of interwoven into each other. And then I was going to wait till I had all 4 parts to put them together and make it into one novel. That would be cool, right? Okay, chapter 11. The day of the wedding had finally arrived. Both Devon and Jackie were nervous for more reasons than one. In Jackie's case, she knew that her veil was hiding more than just her face. How can I marry him and not tell him the truth? Many of Devon's family members were not churchgoers, so they planned a non-traditional wedding. For the sake of peace, they agreed to rent a hall and allow a non-denominational layman to perform the ceremony. The hall was absolutely beautiful. Crystal streamers fell elegantly from the ceiling like raindrops, paused in midair. The windows were draped in shimmering lilac silk curtains that flowed in the light breeze. The chairs were wrapped in rich, boy, this light is bright in my eye today, huh? Sorry. The chairs were wrapped in rich golden fabric and aisles shimmered with the reflection of the golden ceiling. Exotic flowers towered on either side to create a breathtaking canopy. Everything seemed perfect. Gasps of approval, admiration filled the quiet hall when Jackie appeared at the threshold at the end of the long aisle. It was everything Jackie dreamed of and more. Dada held her hand, grasping his youngest daughter tightly. Calm down, princess. Everything will be all right. His soft whisper was reassuring and filled her with courage she lacked. But Jackie could not calm the uneasiness in her stomach. Her hands began to perspire, as was always the case when she was nervous. Father and daughter slowly made their way down the aisle. Devon's cousin Sadie had an exquisite voice which swept through the hall as she sung, "Always and Forever." Devon was bubbling with anticipation. He stood in the front, anxiously awaiting the moment he had been longing for. 10 years of dreaming, talking, hoping that his one love would agree to marry him. And by a twist of fate, she did. No more waiting. The moment had finally arrived, and just as the ceremony was about to get underway, a commotion could be heard stirring in the back of the hall. The chatter from the crowd rolled in and increased loudly like locusts storming over fertile ground. Rita emerged from the shadows. She sauntered onto the bridal path and stood at the opposite and glaring at the couple with a villainous smirk. Suddenly, all eyes were on her, just as they should be as far as Rita was concerned. The atmosphere was filled with confusion, but one thing was for sure. Rita came to steal the show. The group could be heard mumbling and jeering as Rita strolled purposefully down the aisle. Her hips swayed in exaggerated seduction, temporarily mesmerizing male guests who were pinched or popped by their female companions. She smiled, obviously pleased with herself. From head to toe, Rita was a sight to behold. Her head was crowned with a Her head was crowned with a cubic zirconia studded tiara. Rita come at the people and wedding in a tiara. her, her voluminous body was stuffed into a Her voluminous body was stuffed in a skin-tight white dress that announced every curve her long leg. Sorry, let me back up. It's the tiara, y'all. The tiara done threw me all the way off. Let me go back. Her head was crowned with a cubic zirconia studded tiara. Her voluminous body was stuffed in a skin-tight white dress that announced every curve. Her long legs poured into sparkling red stilettos that boosted her height by 6 inches. Where was Rita going? Despite trying to appear confident, she could barely walk without stopping to balance every few steps. There was a growing anticipation as the small crowd's breath seemed to rise and fall with every step she took. Where is she going? Oh, this woman. And why is she here? For those who just joined us, we are reading Island Love, Urban Coming of Age Tale. This is the finale. So if you are confused about what's going on, it will only make sense once you go back to all the readings, which I put in the box so you can easily click there. But I'll continue. Uneasy whispers swept through row after row of those that had gathered to see Jackie and Devon get married. It was hard for Rita to see that the commotion, it was hard for Rita to see what the commotion was about. She squinted to make sense of the image approaching her. At first, she looked at Devon, but he had just shrugged his shoulders, as it was hard for him to see that far down as well. After a few moments, as peering heads peeled back from the aisle and turned their gaze towards them, Jackie and Devon realized who it was. Rita. Jackie, Devon whispered urgently. Jackie, Devon whispered urgently. We need a minute. To the left of the canopy, there was a small room that was designated for the pastor to prepare before conducting the ceremony. Devon motioned to both of his parents that he needed a few minutes to speak with his bride. He grabbed Jackie firmly by the hand and escorted her to the room. Calm down, everyone. Calm down, bid the pastor. The couple will be back in a few minutes. Rita had finally arrived at her destination, front row center. She used the narrow opening that was reserved for Jackie's older sister, Tamar, who was running late as usual. So Rita took herself, she squeezed in the front row, in the people them. I can't, yo. Rita rudely took a seat among the bride's family. Scoot over now, I want to see what I want, she said. Who are you? Mama demanded. Jackie and Devon had made their way into a tiny room off the main hall. Inside the small room, the air was thick with anticipation. Sit down, Jackie. I have something to tell you. Devon was terrified that Jackie was going to ruin his wedding with lies. Devon was terrified that Rita was going to ruin his wedding with lies, and he could not hold this secret any longer. Jackie waited for months for Devon to trust her enough to confide in her what happened with Rita. She had no idea he would wait right up until their wedding day. And Jackie have some nerve, don't she? She's been holding this joint for 10 years. But anyway, she was glad that he had finally came around to telling her. Yet, concerned that their marriage would be filled with secrets unless something drastic threatened to reveal it before they did. Jackie, yes, Devon, you know we have known each other for years. Yes, Devon. Ever since I saw you in Miss Margaret's 6th grade class, I knew you were the one for me. So he's doing the whole long thing while everybody's waiting. Yes, Devon. For years, you never gave me the time of day, but I never gave up. For years, Devon, people are out there waiting. Let them wait. I have to get something off my chest. I know from sometime in high school, you had a big crush on my cousin. Oh no. Jackie's heart began to beat faster. She wondered if he had found out about her little secret. I never knew what made you change your mind and give me that note. But since then, my dream of having you as my wife has come true. I don't want anyone, anything, or any secret to come between us. I know, Devon. Jackie was on the verge of breaking down. She was scared of how Devon would react if she told him that she had given him the wrong note. And it was only after Trevor had rejected her that she decided to give him a chance. So basically what they would say in the streets is that she used him as sloppy seconds, or he was sloppy seconds, as some would say. He paused and took a deep breath. Ah, Jackie, my love, I have something to tell you. Please don't get mad. Please hear me out, he pleaded. A few months ago, when I went to the lawyer's office to clear up some paperwork, Devon began. Yeah, Jackie said, wanted to give him the courage to continue. When I arrived, Mr. Thompson wasn't there. He blurted out, it was only Rita. And babes, you're not going to believe this. The model man tried to throw herself on me. She said she wants me to marry her instead of you. What? Jackie had heard it all on the phone, but it still upset her to hear it again. Yes, Devon kept his head lowered, looking only at Jackie's hands, which he was determined not to let go of. But there is more. When I pushed her away and rejected her, she said if I didn't marry her, that she would lie to you about it and tell Mr. Thompson that I assaulted her. I promise you I never touched a woman. Devon was looking into her eyes now. He needed her to believe him. Nonetheless, Devon sighed. I think that is why she came here today, to cause a scene. I remember Rita come. She acted like she was going to the club. She got on her tiara. She got on her tight up dress and shoes she can't walk in, okay? She came to steal the show. So they both was trying to figure out why is she here as everyone else. I'm sorry I took so long to tell you this. After speaking, Devon braced himself for Jackie's reaction. Wow, Devon, how could you hold something like this from me? She trying to fake her, sorry. She said while chuckling lightly, which made Devon uncomfortable. Why are you laughing? How is this even funny to you? Devon asked, genuinely perplexed. The truth is, I already knew, Jackie said, still smiling. What? Devon asked. His expression was quizzical. His confusion begged for explanation. Shalom, Cynthia. Welcome to the discussion. We are on chapter 11 of this novella, Island Love. It's getting hot and crazy in the room while all of these secrets are being spilled before they say the I do's. Yes, that day when you went to the office, my phone rang, Jackie began. And when I picked up, I could hear your conversation. I heard her come on to you, and I heard you reject her. I waited since then for you to tell me, but you never did. What was so concerning to me is that you could hold some, Jackie, hashtag hypocrisy, I'm sorry. What was so concerning to me is that you can hold something like this for so long. Jackie was suddenly aware of how hypocritical she sounded. Hashtag hypocrisy. How many people have been in relationships when the person is condemning you, or you were the person condemning somebody of doing the very same thing that you're guilty of? Put your hands in the air. I'm putting my hands in the air, by the way. I'm so sorry, Jackie, Devon said, placing two strong hands on her shoulders, but unable to face her. I'm so sorry, Jackie. Like, kind of like that. Like, I thought maybe you wouldn't believe me or think I really wanted Rita and did something to lead her on. I was wrong not to trust your love for me. This is the moment. Jackie's smile faded and quiet filled the room. She knew that it couldn't end here. Hanging in the silence that followed, Devon's confession was still one more secret, Jackie's. Slowly lowering her head, Jackie spoke softly. This time it was she that couldn't This time it was she that couldn't meet his gaze. Devon, she began. Yes, Jackie, Devon answered like a sinner awaiting judgment. I have something to tell you as well. Jackie's voice was weak as her sentence trailed off unfinished. What possibly could she have to say, he wondered. Well, I know I should have told you this long ago, but as Jackie continued, her words echoed in his ears. Backside, she cheat on me. No, she changed her mind and don't want to marry me again. Devon's mind cycled through scenarios, each one worse than the last. His face tensed up, his eyes searched her simultaneously, demanding that she continue and praying that she wouldn't. Jackie continued. I just didn't know how to say it. For 10 years, Jackie, for 10 years. Anyway, Devon braced himself for the possibilities that flooded his imagination. He exploded anxiously, saying, just get to it, Jackie. Now, he ain't got no patience. He wanted some patience. Now, he ain't got no patience. Remember, right before high school graduation, when I saw you that day and gave you a note? Jackie's words were still measured and cautious. If I remember, that was the note that changed everything, Devon said, nodding his head slightly, unable to make sense of how this could be related to Rita or the wedding. You finally realized that I was the better choice instead of my cousin. Jackie's eyes widened as if they were taking in the magnitude of the situation. Oh boy, how do I go on? What if he gets so upset that he wants to call off the wedding? She continued with caution, choosing her words very carefully. The truth is, Jackie, come on now. Can we reminisce on the honeymoon? People are outside waiting. Wait now, Devon. This is hard enough as it is. Please give me a minute to say it. Jackie lifted her pearl white veil and let it rest on her head. So the whole time she's veiled, which is funny because that was one of the names that I wanted to name the book initially. This is a little behind the music, right? Behind the book. I actually wanted to name it The Veiled Secret, but then I saw there was a lot of things along that lines, so I decided to change it. But that's what I wanted to name it. From that line, I wanted to name it The Veiled Secret. Where am I? Jackie lifted her pearl white veil and let its rest on her head. She motioned for Devon to hold on and give her a minute, and he reluctantly obliged. Jackie, what is the problem? You're starting to scare me now. What? You give me bun? Devon said, guessing one of the worst case scenarios. No, Jackie exclaimed. What, you don't want to marry me again? Devon said, throwing out another one of his fears and hoping she would say no again. No, that's not it. I just can't hide. Who is it? You gotta say, who is it? A baby done bold up on you. No, that's not it. I just can't hide this lie anymore, Jackie cried. Just then, a knock came to the door. The pastor pushed his head in. The people are waiting. Is everything good in here? Yes, Pastor, all is good. We're coming. Just to iron out a few things before that big I do, Devon said, trying to sound as if he believed his words. Okay, well, try and speed it up. The people are getting restless and hungry, and you know how that is. I don't know why them love bring them belly come a road, the pastor said good-naturedly. Greetings to everybody who just joined us. You're in the middle of a story, so you're just going to have to rock it out. And if you're confused, don't worry. We have links for you. He closed the door. A strong wind passed through the room. Jackie was frightened. She didn't know how to say what she needed to say. Maybe I should leave well enough alone, she thought. This is when you have to tell a lie and you don't want to tell the truth. And so this is, anyway. But then another thought came, saying, no secrets in your marriage, girl. Just fess up. Devon, like I was saying, I really, really, really have grown to love you. Jackie spoke quickly. She had to just get this over with. I always considered you my friend, and I'm grateful of the opportunity to consider you my husband. And Devon asked, well, the note I gave you that day was, it was actually not for you. Dum, dum, dum. She blurted out and cringed as she waited for his response. Devon sighed. She wasn't making any sense. What do you mean? He asked. I mean, I wrote 2 notes back then, one for you and one for Trevor. I accidentally gave Trevor your note and you got Trevor's note, Jackie explained. I had such a crush on him. I wanted to let him know, but you were always there embarrassing me. So I decided to tell him in a note. Your note actually said, I think you should go find another girl because I was not the one for you. Jackie's voice trailed off. No one said anything, and they could hear the people outside getting restless. Fortunately, Sadie was called to sing another song. The pastor was working hard to keep the crowd at bay. So the crowd is hungry. The bride and the groom is missing, and they are hungry belly people that's willing to get on with this thing and get their drink on at the reception, okay? So this is not a good atmosphere right now. Devon was crushed. He knew that something must have happened to change Jackie's mind, but he never figured out what. But he never thought in a million years that it was an accident. So are you saying you just got stuck with me by default? That you really didn't want to be with me? And I was an accident? Devon fumed. Oh, wait, I read that too calm. So hold on. So are you saying you just got stuck with me by default? That you really didn't want to be with me and I was an accident? Devon fumed. No, baby. Well, yes and no. Jackie had never seen Devon this angry, at least not with her. Please just listen, Jackie adds, hoping that she could de-escalate the situation. It was providence. I didn't know what I needed. Here, Jackie knows. She got in her church now. It was providence. I didn't know what I needed. I was just an immature girl at the time with a high school crush. The Creator knew that we were supposed to be together. He knew that you were the man I needed. Devon arose from his seat with a grimace on his face. He turned his back so that she could not see the pain gripping his heart. Why did you keep this from me so long? He asked. Why are you telling me this on our wedding day? Like he kept like, you know what I'm saying? He kept like a few months. Homegirl kept 10 years. I want us to be honest with you. Jackie, stop lying. Sorry. When you write the character, you mad with the character you wrote? I want us to be honest with each other, Jackie answered. Devon's thoughts turned to Jackie's word. Sorry. Devon's thoughts turned to Rita's words that day at the office. Was she right? Was she the better woman to be his wife? Devon had invested so much in building a solid foundation for his love for Jackie, but how could he reconcile that with how he felt right now? He made his way towards the door without saying a word. Jackie trembled with uncertainty. What was he doing? Why is he not speaking? Rita sat smugly in the front row, smirking and reasoning that the delay meant victory for her. I saw me hat. As me come my wedding, it stopped, she thought. So Rita is all like, I did it, it's me. He going, he about to dump that zero and get with this winner and all this kind of stuff. So now we are at chapter 12. This is the last chapter of this particular portion. You can't hear me? Oh, you missed the beginning. I'm so sorry. You can hear me now. Let me know if you can hear me now. Oopsie, oopsie. I'm sorry, Facebook. That's you too. I want to make sure that I can be heard. Hopefully you can hear me now because it's registering the volume. Yeah, you missed some stuff. That chapter 11 is a doozy. Uh-oh, hold on. Wait a minute. All right, chapter 12. Let's see what happens. What y'all think is going to happen, y'all? I mean, what y'all think is going to happen? I don't think y'all ready for this. Y'all ready for this? Let me know if y'all ready for this. Okay, you can hear me now. Okay, let me know if you're ready for this. So it's crazy. He walks out. He storms out the room. The people are waiting. Rita is in the front seat in Jackie's sister's spot. She don't care. She trying to get this insurance money. Devon revealed his secret, and Jackie couldn't take it no more. She revealed her secret, and it was a little bit too much for him to bear. So chapter 12. In spite of the bride's family protests, Rita refused to move until Devon came back. When Devon returned, he took his place in front of the guests, who had been impatiently waiting, and requested a microphone. Jackie stood trembling, standing off at a distance, anxiously awaiting his next move. Her fiancé took the microphone in hand and addressed the crowd in a stern voice. You ready? Tahila said, you ready? You ready? Y'all ready? Okay, y'all ready? So he at the front now, man. He at the front. He about to... Attention, 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 everyone, attention. I want to thank you for your patience and for your attendance, Devon said. This is so good. Got you on the edge of your seat. Got your head wrapped all to the side, right? Attention, attention. Attention, I want to thank you for your patience and your attendance, Devon said, sounding clear and steady. Please listen up. I have an announcement to make. Announcement? What was he going to say? Why wasn't Jackie standing with him? The crowd started to whisper amongst themselves again in confusion. Please allow me to introduce someone to you. Devon looked to the front and motioned to Rita to come up and join him. Rita could not believe this was really happening. She looked around for Jackie, but she was still hiding behind the wall, watching everything play out. Rita adjusted her tiara, tugged at her dress, which had raised high above her thighs from sitting. She turned to the crowd with a smile and gave them a pageant wave. Finally, a medium beauty queen. Look how everybody watch me. She reassured herself she was the prize winner. Once in front, Rita had a clear view of Jackie in the corner. She winked at her and mouthed, "I me have your man no." With a look of accomplishment still on her face, she turned her attention to her handsome catch, Devon. Devon's hand was extended towards hers. She took it, and together they faced the crowd. Elders, parents, family, and friends, I'm sorry for the delay on this special day, but an urgent matter came up that needed to be taken care of, Devon said, addressing the crowd. Jackie and I had a moment to reveal some secrets we were keeping, and in the spirit of truthfulness, this is something I have to do. Where was Jackie? Daddy and Mama had despairing looks on their faces. All of Jackie's siblings were troubled by the fact that another woman stood next to her husband to be on her wedding day. Her brothers were prepared for things to get ugly if they didn't see their baby sister soon. Everyone, I would like you to meet Rita, Devon announced. Rita could barely contain her excitement. So Rita is like, yes, I mean, no. Mr. Thompson was in the back as giddy as a schoolboy. If the wedding was successfully broken, he stood to receive Mr. Carlton's money by default. You said Rita need her head cracked. So Mr. Thompson's like, yo, if I break this up, because remember, he can't marry no one else. He can't get the money if he marries anybody else. And so, you know, Rita's like, yo, we gonna get broken off with some money. That was an additional clause in the inheritance that he neglected to tell the couple. Yes, Rita, you did it. We're in at the money now, the lawyer rejoiced, which is also her father, which we learned some chapters ago. Rita is a woman I met some time ago at the lawyer's office, Devon's voice echoed throughout the banquet hall. She has shown me something special that I would like to share with you all. She showed me how much Devon, looked back at Jackie. She showed me how much Devon looked back at Jackie as he continued, how much I am worth having someone who loves me for me. Rita smiled. Now that she had his heart, she wondered if she should just marry Devon right now. There was already a pastor and everything. She could always have a real wedding after she had all Devon's money too. Jackie could not hold herself back anymore. She ran up to Devon, took his hand, and began to profess her love in front of everybody. Devon, I do love you. Hold on. Sorry, I got all excited. That was the hood. It's okay. She come out now. She couldn't take no more because she didn't know where this was going. Devon, I do love you for you. I'm sorry for not telling you, but now there were two women standing before the crowd. What kind of shame and disgrace is this? Auntie Dolores shouted out from the back row. I love you so much, Jackie, but I've always loved you, but it hurts me to know you settled for your second choice. Devon, I grew to love you so much I couldn't believe that I never saw how much we were meant for each other. I'm sorry I kept that from you. Kept what? One of the old men in the back shouted. Oh, I gotta do the old man. Kept what? Old man in the back shouted. This sweeter than so proper. Another chimed. Devon, don't do this, Jackie pleaded. You kept a secret from me as well for the same reason. You were afraid of how I would feel. Rita realized her moment was short-lived. She started to panic. She wedged her way between the couple as they drew closer with each word. Devon, will you tell them or should I? Rita threatened desperately. Just then, Jackie extended her hand. Rita was unsure if she was reaching for Devon or if she was planning to attack her. But to her surprise, she took the microphone and stepped forward. Standing where Devon had been, Jackie faced the audience and revealed that she had been on the phone on the day that Devon went to the lawyer's office after being summoned by Rita. She described each detail of Rita's seduction as she had seen it herself. Hold on. Herself. Just the thought that Devon could have betrayed her in that moment filled her chest and her heart ached and she found it hard to breathe. But he didn't. He loved her and he defended her. He protected his heart for her. And it was she that had broken it. The crowd started to perk up. No, they're not hungry no more. No, they perked up, wrapped up in her story. When she finished, Jackie turned to face Rita. Her expression was firm, but no longer angry. I heard the whole thing, she told the stunned Rita, whose eyes darted nervously across the disappearing faces of the guests. So please take your hands off of my fiancé and leave. Rita looked down at her hand. Her fingers were coiled tightly around Devon's wrist. She searched his eyes for any sign that he would still accept her, but they were frozen in Jackie's direction as if no one else existed. Rita released his wrist abruptly. Rita was embarrassed. She was powerless now because her leverage had been lost, and even her father had abandoned her to shoulder the consequence alone. So the pops was in the back, like waiting, and it popped off. So dude skipped town. Rita took a few paces backwards, sliding her feet as she distanced herself from Devon, whose handsome face scowled as if seeing her for the first time. as the wicked woman she was. Rita was suddenly filled with indignation. What had she done wrong? She deserved to be happy too. Devin was happy with her until Jackie ruined everything. Rita is delusional, y'all. Rita stormed off, but not before proclaiming emphatically to the crowd that she was indeed wife material and that Devin missed out on a good thing. The crowd melted away. The lovebirds embraced each other. The two apologized profusely between soft kisses. Secrets almost tore them apart. And there in the moment they vowed that from that day forth, no more new secrets would live between them anymore. The sound, oh, sorry. So now that was the part. So we're gonna, it breaks, and now here we are. The sound of the trunk closing jarred Jackie back to reality. A few moments later, so we're back to the beginning. We went from the beginning and we went through this. Now we're back to when they were moving and all of this, because 10 years had passed. Sorry. The sound of the trunk closing jarred Jackie back to reality. A few moments later, Devin entered the kitchen in a bit of a huff. Jackie, you still in here? What's taking so long, babes? Time to go. Time's going. His voice bounced off the empty walls, echoing in the hallway towards the kitchen. Jackie sat gazing through the window, distant but aware that her husband had entered the room. He was growing impatient, but decided against causing a scene. Jackie, what's the matter? Sad about leaving? His inquiries were met with silence. Nostalgic entranced Jackie, so she wasn't aware of how much time had passed. The thought of leaving their first home was bittersweet. Devin's presence caused a wellspring of emotion to fill her heart. Before she could answer him, tears began flowing down and cascading off her rounded cheeks, splashing into her bosom. Devin stretched forward to wipe her tears. He placed his hands on her face and looked deep into her bare soul. She smiled reluctantly. Ever since they faithfully vowed to keep no secrets, their marriage had seemed great. But now, just as they were about to start a new chapter in their lives, Jackie was torn, grappling with the vow she made 10 years ago. So it seemed like Jackie had our next secret. And that is the end of that first portion, Island Love. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for listening and reading along with me. That was interesting, wasn't it? And so that is an illustration of some of my fiction writing abilities, and many stories to be learned, or morals to be learned in their story. So I guess we can have a little review now if anybody would like to share. I know sometimes Teresa on YouTube was like, girl, I hope he married her. Yeah, that was what happens is, you know, she had to confess, because that's what happens when people have something over you. You know what I mean? They have that power to manipulate you. And so she did have something to lose. She had everything to lose, the relationship that she eventually built, you know. That was good. Thank you so much. Like I said, my next one, I have to send it through edits and everything like that. I think I have a book that I haven't read yet. It's called The Last Song. They did a movie out of England from it, and I wanted to read that book. So possibly I'll read that book. I will see. If not, there's a book I think it's called Coming of Age in Mississippi. That one was really good as well. So I think that book is by Anne Moody. So I kind of miss reading, so I might read another book. I think between those two, I've read Coming of Age in Mississippi before, but I haven't read The Long Song before. So it depends. So if you're enjoying this and you would like to see more, feel free to let me know as we proceed. Once again, let your thoughts be known in the bottom. And if you have a moment, hop on over to Amazon and leave a review so that other people can be entertained, clean entertainment by the book. So with that said, and the next book is called Island Twist, and it's going to follow Trevor, because now we see where Devon is, but it's going to follow Trevor and Ponytail Girl. Remember from the wedding? So Ponytail Girl and Trevor, that's Trevor baby mother. I ain't gonna give y'all too much. I'm giving y'all too much. So y'all gonna have to stay tuned on that one. Yeah, she realized that she was in love with him, and she was young. You know what I'm saying? She was young. She's in high school. She has this crush, and it's based on all the wrong things. And just Trevor's reaction to her alone told her, you know what? Then this is not the dude. You know what I mean? This is not the dude for me. And but what she should have done, the right thing to do, would have been to tell him at that point, and then make him make the decision. But she nursed that secret for 10 years. So I can imagine if I was him, if that was anybody, that would hurt. You know what I mean? Like, wow, so you really didn't love me? So it's not really real, you know what I mean? But like you said, she grew to love him. And I'm glad that, because when I'm writing, I'll just share a little behind the scenes. Like these characters, some of it is a composite of all the wildness that I've heard and experienced in different spaces. And then the character kind of like organically, I don't know, blossoms and does what it does. You know what I mean? And so when I'm writing, it just like all pours out. And then, you fine tune what you said before, and then you have to match up everything. And it's really a process, but I enjoy it. I enjoy it. So with that said, everybody, and I would say it's less stressful than nonfiction. So like when I do my research work, that is, you have to make sure everything to the T. It's more free and creative. With research, you have to quote all your sources. You have to make sure everything to the T, to the best of your ability, is accurate, because it's nonfiction. But in fiction, you kind of have that liberty to paint this narrative and to make morals fit into the story and all that beautiful stuff. So it definitely is therapeutic. So I thank everybody for tuning in, and for everybody who's going to catch this on the replay. If you enjoyed it, feel free to share and, support a up and coming author and writer and artist and musician and whatever it is that we do, support, right? All right, then, everybody. This light is hot, y'all. I'm about to turn this light on. The light got me baking. The light got me baking. Not baking, but baking. All right. One. Yeah. Trevor's story, and I just took off Facebook, but Trevor's story gets interesting. So I just knocked off Facebook, but let me see. It's not on this computer. It's on my other computer. The opening of Trevor's story, but this one is more lighthearted, but when we get into Trevor's story and Ponytail's story, well, Ponytail Girl, who is Pam, their story gets heavy, you know what I'm saying? Because I want to explore the different aspects of things that happen in our community, and open up, spaces that we can talk about them through these characters. And so, to say you can't wait. All right, I can't wait either. I mean, I haven't read this one in a while, so that was interesting to go back and read. And I do see one and two little things I have to go back and fix that was overlooked for ease of read. But definitely, I will keep everybody updated. All right, everybody have a blessed day. And with that, please look out for the R. Kelly research. I've said that every time, but it is after I'm finished this now. So now it's time to get back to work. Get back to work. All right.